Hello P6 and welcome to part 2 of our probability lessons. In the last lesson we learned that probability is the maths of chance. A probability tells us how likely or probable something is to happen. Let's take another look at these probability words. If we say that an event is impossible, it means that it definitely will not happen. If something is very unlikely, then there is only a very small chance that it will happen. If an event is unlikely to happen, there is a small chance that it will happen, but it is less than half. If it's likely to happen, that means there is a good chance that it will happen. It's more than half. Very likely means there's a very good chance that it will happen. And if something is certain, then we know that it will definitely happen. We can then take these probability words and show them on what's known as a probability scale. Let's take a closer look. If you look at the left-hand side of the scale, you'll see the word impossible. Again, those are the events that are definitely not going to happen. At the right-hand side, we've got certain, something that's definitely going to happen. And in between, we've got our words very unlikely, unlikely, likely, and very likely. But if we look exactly halfway along this line, we can now see a new probability word, even chance. An even chance has to be right in the middle because it describes a situation where the probability of an event happening is exactly equal to the probability of it not happening. An even chance means that there is a 50-50 chance of something happening. So let's look at a few examples of when we might use an even chance. Have you ever flipped a coin? Lots of games actually start with flipping a coin, don't they? You might flip a coin to decide who's going to play first or to choose which end you're going to play at. When we flip a coin, there are two possible outcomes. We know that a coin has one side that we call heads and the other side that we call tails. The probability of landing on either of those sides is the same. There's an equal chance that we could land on heads or that we could land on tails. So because there are only two choices, two chances, and the chance of landing on either one of them is the same, we say that that's an even chance. We are as likely to land on heads as we are on tails. So when a coin is flipped, there is an even chance that it will land on heads. Have you ever had a puppy who likes to steal shoes? I have. In fact, you might even hear her scampering around in the background to some of our videos. Well, in this picture, I can see Tom's puppy, and Tom's puppy loves to steal shoes. But which shoe will Tom's puppy choose? Well, we all know that there's a pair of shoes, pair means two, so one shoe will be the left shoe, the other one will be the right shoe. When Tom's puppy goes to steal a shoe, well, the puppy doesn't really mind which one it gets as long as it gets one of the shoes. So because there are two possible choices, and it doesn't matter which one Tom's puppy chooses, there is an even chance that it will be the left shoe. The chance of choosing the left shoe is just as likely to happen as it is to choosing the right shoe. So it doesn't matter which one Tom's puppy chooses, there is an even chance of choosing either the left shoe or the right shoe. Let's take a look at this question. True or false? When a dice is thrown, there is an even chance that it will land on an odd number. Well, when I look at all the 6 possibilities when I throw a dice, of course, I can see that there are 3 different odd numbers. The number 1 and 3 and 5, they are my odd numbers. So there are 3 odd numbers that I could land on if I threw my dice. So I could say that 3 out of the 6 possible answers are odd numbers. If I take that 3 out of 6, well, I could write it as a fraction. And of course, I know that if I write 3/6, I could simplify that fraction and divide both the numerator and the denominator by 3. 3/6 is equivalent to 1/2. So I could also say that half of the possible answers are odd numbers. And if half of the possible answers are odd numbers, well, that tells me that yes, I do have an even chance of landing on an odd number. Another way of saying an even chance is to say a half chance or even a 50-50 chance. So the key thing to remember from today's lesson is that if we are looking at a probability scale, an even chance sits exactly halfway along the line between impossible and certain. An even chance has to be right in the middle. It describes a half chance or a 50-50 chance because the probability of our event happening is exactly equal to the probability of it not happening. If I was to describe an event as having a less than even chance, well, that tells me that it's either impossible, very unlikely, or unlikely to happen if it's less than even. If it's more than even, then I could say that it's likely to happen, it's very likely to happen, or even that it's certain to happen if it has a more than even chance. For today's home learning task, go to our P6 numeracy page and download the Even Chances activity. Read the statements on the page and decide whether they have an even chance of occurring, a less than even chance, or a more than even chance of occurring. At the bottom of the page there are 2 spaces. Add 2 final statements of your own and decide what the chance is of each of them occurring. Once you've completed that activity, why don't you have a go at our coin flipping challenge? In this activity, we would like you to flip a coin 50 times and record how many times it lands on heads and how many times it lands on tails. As you record your results, find out, do the 2 occur the same amount of times? Do you get the same amount of heads as you get of tails? They should be pretty similar. Good luck, P6.